My name is Wilson Kanoga. I'm a young man. I'm below that 5 years. I'm a Kenyan, and I live in Kenya and I serve Kenyans. And yes, I'm a father of 25 children, adopted. I was born and raised in the street. I lost my parent at the age of 5 years. I found myself in the street of Nairobi, where I was a street boy for over 15 good years in the street of Nairobi.
Toka hapa wewe chokola. Enda. Nimesema utoke uende. Toka kwa kazi yangu uende.
I found myself in the street of Nairobi, so I cannot share about the love of parents, or I had somebody to protect me, because I found myself in the street of Nairobi as a street boy at a tender age. And the only thing I remember, I came to know myself when I was sodomized or raped at the age of 7 years, and I hated everybody, because after being sodomized, nobody took me to the hospital, except there's a time I became so sickly, and I was taken at Nairobi Women's Hospital. After treatment, because I had no one to care for me, I ran away from the hospital. I went back to the street. Now it became worse. I did not fear anybody. And whoever, if I could ask you for 5 bob, I did deny me. I was ready to wash you with Murphy. That's how my life was between 5 years to 10 years. And the life between that, it was time to feed. We used to feed ourselves. Don't have your mom, you don't have your dad, and the big boys are using you to get money. So they could send you, go and borrow money. You bring to them in terms of they buy food for you. But after getting money, you become an enemy to them. So myself, I used to get food from garbages, made up from hotels. Those are the time that's how I used to feed myself. Sleeping, we used to sleep under the bridge. I've slept at a group cinema bridge for so many years. That was my bedroom. And also at railways, we used to sleep even at railway station, and also a place called Grogo in Nairobi, where also it was one of my bed. We used to sleep in different places. By that time there was no county council, there was municipal city council. Now if we realize the city council or the police on patrol, they were on this side, we used to go to the other side. Now that's where you sleep inside the sack. That's how life was at that age. As a young boy, we used to be used by big people to go to steal. I could follow you to the bank and nobody could notice. So I mark you behind. You just see an innocent child. After leaving the place, I go and tell the big boys that guy marked him here. Then they will follow you. They will steal from you. I will only, after stealing over 50,000 from you, I will only benefit from 100 Kenya shillings. Then from street, there's graduation. You graduate under the age of 12 to 13. You graduate. Our graduation was through circumcision. You could be taken to be circumcised, and not in the hospital. Myself, I got circumcised in the street of Nairobi under group cinema. I cut you, you cut me. So after being circumcised, being cut, the same day I was cut, we went to steal at Buruburu police station. We were 15 of us. 7 of my members were killed on spot. I survived after beaten by mob justice. I was taken to morgue. They thought I was dead at city mortuary, and I was left that sleep. So because I had fainted, the doctor did not know. So I was thrown there. In the morning, as the body were, were being prepared to be preserved, I came to my senses. Where am I? And everybody ran away. And it was all over. A street boy disconnected from City Mortuary, Nairobi, Kenya. And nobody could want to see me because everybody was scared. And every media was after me. How is heaven like? How did you resurrect? How was it in the city, in the mortuary? But I wasn't aware.
Here are some of the eyewitnesses who just saw the resurrected man. What did you see?
Pana. Huyo msee amefufuka.
Reason.
Amefufuka.
How?
Si ni wale machokocho wamepigwa marisasi na pale hivi juzi. Sasa tunakuja huku tunapata wamefufuka. Ani ule msee ule alikuwa anajiitanga Wilson.
Did you run away?
Si utamaka kwanza, alafu tena ujue ka utahepa. Alafu ujue ka ni reality. Mick, by the way, nataka kwenda kumguza. Lakini karao nao. So, si wituende kwanza alafu tena turudi.
It's okay. Thank you.
Vile nimeona leo, sijaiona. Acha nikwambie, by that mimi ndio nilikuwa mortuary attendant. Wao amefufuka. Acha nikwambie sijaiona kitu kama hiyo. For 15 years nimekuwa mortuary attendant. Sijaiona mtu amefufuka. Lakini leo nimeshangaa.
From now that life, I've started stealing without fear, using drugs. I've used different type of drugs, cocaine, heroin, selling different type of drugs in street. And also, apart from selling drugs, we could rape without fear. After using drugs, now you are under control of drugs. But I thank God, He has changed me really. I could, with my fellow group, we could ask for ready money. If she refuses, we use our power to enforce her. We rape her and we leave her there to die. And that's how our life was. It wasn't easy, it wasn't good. But in every challenge someone God has a reason on it. Because we are so many, and many have died while I'm watching. Apart from that street life, apart from now after circumcision, I graduated from stealing with a knife to stealing with a gun. And our stealing was not to kill. Although I was using gun to steal, it was to scare you. When I come to your place, I say I want some money and you refuse, I will scare you. I'm going to shoot you. Then I will steer fear in you. Then you will give me whatever I want. The instance that we shot people when I was a street boy, I cannot tell if we killed, but we shot. Because we are shooting you to scare you. Then you could run away. And not only one street. We could fall someone, maybe from Runda, Karen, different places, until we achieve our goal. That's how my life was. I started selling drugs at Kenicom, pretending I was a disabled, but selling fast running good like sweets and biscuits. But my customer knew what I was selling. That's how I started selling drugs. I also people could hire guns from me at the street, and nobody could know what I was doing. So from there again, apart from people hiring guns from me, we could be given a contract of following you, just knowing at what time do you leave the house and what time do you come back. From there, from street again, I was shot. I've been shot thrice, going to steal different places. The first shot, we were shot when we tried to steal from one of the minister in Nairobi, and you were 8 of us. 3 of my members were killed on spot. I survived the bullet. The second bullet, I was shot when we went to steal the coffin of former Vice President Kijana Michael Malwa in a place called Kitale. We were about 8 of us. Some few members were killed on spot. I survived again with a bullet on my left leg. And I can just say it was God. I've been beaten also by mob justice. There's a time I was beaten up by mob justice, taken to Kenyatta Hospital. Because due to use of drugs, I jumped from 4th floor to 3rd floor, and people were saying I was going to die, but I wasn't. But it was through the drug were showing me he place in Ndogo, so let me jump. That's how I jumped. It's there, and I started stealing when I was in the hospital. I started stealing from the sick people. I could pretend I was very sick. Immediately at 1, after watu washaonwa, I get a sick person, I tell him, the money you have been given, I need it, or I kill you. And I could steal from sick people from the hospital. It went that way until God had mercy upon my life. After going to steal the coffin of former Marwa, it was unsuccessful. Na tukashikwa, we were taken to Kitale prison. From Kitale we were taken to Shimolatewa prison. From there, we were brought to Kamiti Maximum prison. I was in Block D. Something I cannot forget.
Yeah.
It's when we went to steal the coffin in a place called Mathioya. We were 6 of us, and we were waited by over 60 police officers at a place called Thika Blue Post. And now here we are coming, and we could hear, because the car we had hijacked had, I don't know what the name I can give it, the radio call for the police. So we could hear what the police were discussing. And now we are ready, we are going prepared. None of us is going to survive. If you get survive, it's God. And the driver, you have commanded him not to stop, even if police start shooting. And when we reached there is a river there, our car was stopped, and we decided to stop. And here I am with a gun. I was unable to shoot back, and I was just waiting to die. What can I say in English? Nilijiendea cho. I related on myself, I went a long call on myself, and now I was already dead. But I thank God, they only shot 2 of us who tried to run away. I surrendered with my fellow brothers. We surrendered and tukashikwa. I will never forget that, because one of my brother, he was my brother, because in crime we used to call ourselves brothers. He was shot while I was watching. He was killed while I was watching. And I usually say I was able to save his life, but I was unable to save his life. I was able to save his life, but I was unable to save his life. My gun had 18 bullets, and I could be able to shoot back to the police, but I had no power to shoot. And here he was shot. He was bleeding over, crying, shouting my name. I wasn't able to save him. His name was Ndua. He died while I was watching. He died on my arm. When he was shot, he fell on me. And here he was telling me, niokoeni tu, niokoeni tu, niokoeni tu. Tukuwa na uwezo.
Another story.
Ndua died in my hands. Nikiona. Na sikuwa na uwezo wa kumwokoa. And here I was. Sina nguvu. This is the person who have been brought up together. We have been together in good and bad time. And he has gone when I was watching. I became worse. After there, tulipelekwa Thika, tukapelekwa Thika prison. We ran away. Now my purpose to run away was to go and do revenge. I thank God, because I'm doing a book, I did not do my revenge. God saved me before I did my revenge. But now, I hurted so many people because sasa I became like an animal. I could not see a human being as a human being. If I could ask you for something and you refused to give me. Before we are using gun to scare. Now I was ready to shoot you. I could get a knife and stamp.
Zito.
Sasa salamu za mwezi.
Zito, kwani mnanyesha ni? Alafu unakuwa aje sasa? Nisaidia kuka brush manzeni pake ni zangu rangi hivi ya.
Ya nani? Sisi patia mwezi brush. Kiepa na
Zito. Mimi nibadilikanga. Niliondokea ngeo mienenda.
wewe ubadilike. Hata mwalimu alisema unavuta bangi. Wasichana umeweka mimba. Unaniambia nini wewe?
Buda, mse ubadilika.
Si wewe.
Siko na hiyo. Lakini Buda manze.
Lakini nini?
Si mse ubadilika manze.
Sumebia huu toja.
Na noma. Lakini
Buda nini? Ishia.
Experience in school, nobody was able to accept me because I was old. I was schooling some the school where I went high school. Let me talk about primary. First, I had not gone from class 1 to 7, and I needed to get a certificate. I was going to primary only to get a certificate, a class 8, to be recognized, to get ID. And now here I am. I managed to score 305. So I have to go to high school. The school, number one where I was, this kid I was schooling with, my schoolmate, were not ready to accept me. I was a disabled person and nobody else who was a disabled except me. Then I had come from a children's home. When I went to high school, it was the same. I was schooling with people who were younger than me, and I was the only person who came from a children's home. I was the only person who was a disabled person. So it was hard for them to accept who I am. Intimidation was high, and even some teachers could see me like somebody who was to spoil other students, because having come from a background of drugs and crime, they thought that I was going to introduce other students to crime. But through the power of God, I managed to work very hard and smart, and I knew and I was working toward become a great doctor. So I wasn't focusing on people's what they are going to say about me. Even if they could remind me where I was as a street boy, I could always focus where I was going. So being in street did not shatter me of becoming who I am today. So I could just face where I was going. Because in the street, I remember 1998, when there was bomb blast in Nairobi, as the people were running away from Nairobi, we were going inside to steal. So I had gone through a lot of challenges. Now I was fearless. I had no fear in me. I was not afraid of anything, and I was always ready to fight back. And I thank God, because now after all that and going to school, I was able to finish Form 4 very well. I managed to pass, and now I'm a graduate and doing some things. Being brought up in a children's home, everything was catered from the children's home where I come from. They were the one who sponsored me everything. So I did not have any problem, because now I have a place to stay at Maximum Miracle Children's Home, and there was somebody who was taking care of me as a father, as a mother. I'm still yet to become a doctor, but I thank God, already people are calling me a doctor. That's number one. Yeah, people are calling me a doctor. I've achieved a lot in life, because through my past life, I was able to start I was able to start going back to street, talking to those street boys, to tell them I was here and here I am. And they could admire me the way I was dirty and now I'm clean. I was not able to communicate in English. Now I'm able to communicate in English. And they could admire who I was. They could admire how can I become like you. And now I started looking away now to be a mentor to the street boys and also to give them a place to call home. So I could go, even today, that's what I'm doing. I go to street, I feed them, I get a street boys who are ready to transform. I look for a children's home, I take them there. I run a children's home myself, I take them there, and they get helped. I started also a mentorship program. I have a foundation called Ready International Organization. Ready means reforming, educating, and developing young people, where I go to schools from Monday to Sunday to talk to students on crime, on drugs, on sexuality. So I have been able to go to over 4,800 in schools in Kenya. When I talk to someone who have been going through a lot, I've gone to a school where a student wanted to commit suicide. After she listened to me, she realized she had not gone through a lot like the way I've gone through. She confessed and said, I'm now ready to change and I'm going to leave. As I was coming to this studio some few minutes ago, I was stopped by a student who said, hi, can I say hi to you? Then I said, why not? And he said, my name is Kevin. You came to a school where I was in Githumu Boys High School, and I was one of the bad boy, and you really touched my life. What are you doing here? And I was happy to see someone now change whom I have ever encouraged or mentored somewhere. That's what I do. And he's one of the people now who can call me doctor, even though I was not able to pursue that medicine, but people are calling me doctor because of what I'm doing. I pursued something equivalent to medicine because I'm a graduate of human psychology.
Yeye mgeni naitwa Wilson Kanoga. Ya mambo yote nimeokoka. Nashukuru Mungu kwa sababu ya kuniokoa. Kanoga naishi hapa. Namba 2 draw ya wali KMCA huko. Amen. Na todo mama kanda mutaratara ya PCA. Tugarole yake kadini wakani. Totetie diko 11. Nomination ni mwezi 21. Nani tukwenda kugorea tikite. Adoje ko ni muwi. Drama ya wina mwathanya mwazo. Mungu hataki miujiza mingi. Only one miracle and your life will be transformed. Only one miracle.
Hi. Majina naitwa Enjo na watu wengi wananijua Yvonne na Wairimu. Nimeokoka, Yesu ni Bwana na niko na neno kidogo tu, dakika chache. Toka kitabu ya Matthew chapter 5 verse 16. Inatuambia sisi ndio light ya dunia. Kwa hivyo sisi tukiharibu light, dunia mzima imeisha. Na ukitaka kwenda mbinguni, huwezi enda mbinguni ukiwa na darkness. Light and darkness do not go together. Amen. Tukitaka kwenda mbinguni lazima tukue na light. Na light ni nini? Ni neno la Mungu. Amen. Now in the same way, let your light shine before men, that they may see the good deeds you do and praise your Father in heaven. Barikiweni.
Huyu nikiweza kosa kupata kiti ya MCA huku hatatoka kwa nyumba. Wacha hawa, huyu nikikosa kupata hatatoka kwa nyumba. Yeye ndiye ananiambianga, mzee unajua ufanye kampeni mahali fulani. Amen. Mzee unajua mahali fulani hakuna posta yako. Huyu ndiye ananiambianga.
Politics, from where I stay, I'm a person who like helping people. It's inborn. Even when I was a street boy, I could save life, I could help people. You could not be raped when I was there. I could defend you until my fellow people were telling me, kwani mnajua na huyu mtu? So it was like you had paid me to protect you, but it's inborn. I've been helping people, supporting people differently, and I have become like, now people don't see the person who is sitting on the seat. They see me as already I'm there. Not because I've been giving them money, but I give them spiritual, physical, and emotional support. I've been there in all way. And something which made me to venture in politics. Equality. There's something you need to see being done. It's not being done. And you think if I was there, it could have been done better. I fight for a boy child. Now when I see youth being used, I was talking to you guys, stop drugs. Stop getting 200 from person A, B. Then you go and fight for them. Well, they will drive big car. They got their hope. You will be left alone. Then again, I'm doing nothing. What can I do to be that person? I'll bring change to these people to understand it's all about you. Not about me, it's all about you. So I ventured in politics to at least to articulate, how can I help this young lady? How can I help this old man? I've been fighting for right of people living with disability. How can my voice be heard? The leader who are there, are they doing enough for us people living with disability? What do I want? As I entered this studio, I found that there was no, if I came with a wheelchair, I could not have been gotten a chance to come there. Here, you could have carried me because there is no way a wheelchair can come here. That's another problem. Another problem is that we are facing people are looking on us like we are beggars. Well, we are not beggars. It's only opportunity we are lacking to utilize our potential. I can draw myself, I can sing. I'm a better motivation speaker. I can talk to people. I'm a good drug counselor. I can do it. I need that space. And now the person who is there is not doing that. How can I show the rest of people that given a chance, I can do better? When I talk about equality, I run a children's home whereby there's something called bursary. I'm giving you bursary of 10,000 because I know you. Because I don't know this person, I give her 2,000. Is that equality? No. What can I do? When you talk about corruption, I'm not saying I'm not corrupt because I don't know. We corrupt from home. When you tell your child usilie, nitakuletea sausage nikikuja. That corruption. What can I do to help people to understand the meaning of corruption? When you gave me a chance just because you know me, even though I did not give you anything, that's corruption. How can I fight it? How can I be that voice that can bring change? Another thing is unity. I'm kind of a person, I don't know where I come from. I don't know my mom, I don't know my father. I found myself in the street of Nairobi. I'm able to speak 15 languages, so I'm a true Kenyan. The name I'm called, I was given by somebody who realized this guy need a name. So what can I do? So being a good Kenyan, how can I bring unity in our country or where I am vying for? So I came up with that idea. For us to have unity, we need somebody different. Well, not talk about my tribe, but I talked about like a Kenyan. I'm a father of many kids. At my home, we only speak two languages, Kiswahili and English. Because when I ask you where you come from, you feel intimidated, and I will not be able to offer you solution. I will not be there for you as a father. What do I do to avoid that? That's what have led me to venture in politics, because we say if you cannot defeat them, join them, and already have joined them to bring the change I want to see, even if it's only one project. After I have gone to join my ancestors, people will say during the leadership of Kanoga, we received water. During the leadership of Kanoga, this road was made. During the leadership of Kanoga, there was minimal disunity, because he makes sure he brought people together. That's what made me to join politics. Yeah. My book is going on. It will be out soon. My book has no, I don't know the chronology. It has no myth. Ile story watu wanaandikanga za uongo. My book is all about my life. And the reason why I decided to do a book, I have gone so many schools and I've inspired so many people. So many people have changed because of me. I remember once a time I was in certain radio. Now some thugs were going to steal somewhere. And one of them called and said the purpose of him tuning on that station, he was not tuning to that station. They just hijacked a car. They were changing the station. But they heard where I was saying I was a gangster. And they get interested to hear how did you change? And they called and said, after listening to you, I want to meet you and I will never steal again. And we agreed where I was, and he came to the station where I was. He decided to change. The member whom he had, they were going to work together. That night were killed. For him, he was saved because he listened to a voice of a radio station. And I've seen it changing in people. That's why I decided to do a book to talk about life of street life. Life of given a second chance, because I was given a second chance by God. How did I use that second chance? Where am I? Can it charge somebody? Can it help somebody who think like I can commit suicide, I don't have a father, I don't have a mother, I cannot make it in life because of what I've gone through? No, you can still make it. I was nobody and today I'm somebody. Even if I've not achieved all my goal, I'm still working smart and working hard every day to see I've achieved my goal in life, to encourage someone. That's the purpose of my book, and it will be out soon to help many to know. Somebody said, I remember the high school I was taken in, where I was admitted. One of the teacher said, he said in Kikuyu, this guy has smoked so much bangi, cannot change. And now here I was like, I heard what he said, but I pretended I did not stand. And then yeah. And I started hating that teacher from that date. Few days ago, I gave him a lift with my car. And I wanted him to remember. He said what? He's not driving, I'm driving. He has no name, I have a name. So, it's not about where you come from. Sure. It's a matter of where you are going and your focus.